We good? Okay, great. All right, let's go ahead. Unmute. Yeah, oh, it says we're muted. Yeah, we're good, yeah. The mic says it's on. Y'all hear us?
Yes, I'm so sorry. Loud and clear.
Oh, good. Great, thank you. All right, let's go ahead and call the executive committee meeting of the Waste Reduction District, Monroe County, April 1st, 2024 to order. First, we'll begin with a roll call. Councilmember Piedmont Smith.
Here.
Commissioner Givens.
Here.
And Councilmember Jeff McKim, I'm here. We are all here in person. We'll move on to approval of executive committee meeting minutes from March 4th, 2024. And this is actually a voting item. Any comments that you haven't already provided in terms of changes to the Dropbox?
Yeah, I saw the comments in Dropbox, and Commissioner Givens provided some via email, so those have been corrected, changed in the version that will go in the board packet.
Okay. I move that we approve the executive committee meeting minutes from March 4th, 2024. Second.
Motion is second. All in favor of approving minutes, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Minutes are approved. This non-voting item, review of board of directors meeting minutes from March 14th, 2024. Any comments that haven't already been provided in the Dropbox or by email?
I had a question about Matt Austin. Was he there in person?
Yeah, well, I saw that question and I couldn't recall, and I was kind of hoping that he would be here to ask, but I will email him because in the video you can't really tell in the video because he sits back out of the camera view. So I will attempt to confirm.
Okay, I thought if he had been there, he would have given us this.
Well, that's crossed my. Do you recall?
I do not believe he was present.
Okay. Well, I will attempt to confirm one way or the other and correct if necessary.
All right, sounds good. Okay, we move on to the landfill financial assurance.
Yep, as indicated in the memo on page 7, this is an annual recurrence for us. Thankfully, this year it did decrease from last year after a couple of years of increases due to the economy and whatnot. So kind of is what it is. And you know, I always ask the county to make that demonstration on our behalf. And I can't remember how many years they've been doing it. We've never had to ask the county to provide us any funding to do anything. And always remind them that we do have a trust fund for the purposes of landfill maintenance and monitoring that still has about a $750,000 balance in it. I think only twice have we actually pulled money out of there for anything. So I don't anticipate there'll be questions or concerns from the council doing.
Great. So basically, the board will approve this resolution and then you'll take it to the.
Yeah. So the resolution basically approves, authorizes staff to go make the request from the county council.
Sounds good. Any questions or comments? Yeah, I know we've done it before for many years.
I think I made all of the switches from Monroe County Solid Waste to Waste Reduction District, so except in the one memo.
Even though they had it, yeah, use the new stationery on it.
All right. Well, how about the declaration of surplus property?
Yes, and this is the one, the memo on page 16, my copy and paste didn't get updated, so it still says MCSWMD. I apologize, but just kind of some housekeeping for staff. We're trying to clean things up, make some space. So we've identified some vehicles and a trailer and some equipment that are no longer in use for us. So we'd like to ask that the board declare that surplus property so that it can be provided to another county agency, city agency, or sold or scrapped is deemed to be best. And, any questions about any of the equipment listed, happy to answer them, but.
When I first saw a Great Dane trailer, I thought that was a trailer to haul the It's like, that's awfully specific. I guess it just must be really big.
That's a semi-trailer out at the landfill. That's where we stored the tires that we collected from illegal dumps before we started taking them at South Walnut. That trailer is not roadworthy. That's why we haven't bothered to move it down to South Walnut.
So you think it just has value for scrap metal?
That's in all likelihood going to be scrapped. Yeah.
That Briggs and Stratton generator is a pretty nice generator. What's wrong with it?
Probably not a whole lot. It hasn't run for a while, but that's something that was the generator. We used that for the groundwater sampling before we had trucks that had power outlets in them.
So it's not something that has been replaced?
Well, it has by the trucks.
Yeah.
So it's one less piece of
Process
equipment
change.
that staff needs to haul around while they're doing the sampling events.
Yeah.
That we just did. It's been a number of years because we actually installed a converter in the compliance truck that we traded in on the newer one. So it's 5-6 years since we've used it, and no need has come up. We haven't identified anything else that we would have a need or a use for on it. So
Where are these things sitting?
Like I said, the trailer's at the landfill. That generator was at the landfill, but we brought it down to South Walnut when we said we wanted to get it declared surplus, decided we wanted to get declared surplus. The John Deere mower and the plow have been in, there is a detached garage behind the recycling center. They've been in there. That Bobcat has been at the South Walnut facility for probably since it opened. But with everything that's slowing down at the landfill, we brought a Bobcat that's a little newer and a little better shape, has a couple more features down there from the landfill. And so we don't need two to take up space.
So you think that you might actually be able to, even though it says net asset value, you might actually
It's
get
just
some.
depreciated off. That doesn't mean it's not,
You
none of
might
that.
actually sell these for something.
The net asset value, that's just what it shows on our asset inventory as a depreciated value. These are all old enough that they've depreciated off.
Sounds good. Any other comments?
So the, any money generated from the sale or from scrap metal just goes into our general fund?
Yeah. It would just be identified as miscellaneous income on the cash flow statements and into the operating fund. Unfortunately, it doesn't mean I have that much more to spend this year, but.
No, hasn't been appropriated.
All right. Anything else? So my understanding is you have a few other items.
I do have some other items. I did want to let the committee know the LAO software is scheduled to be installed next week, and which intentionally is an off week for us. This is a payroll week, so next week is an off week for us. So they intentionally are installing it there. They'll take the payroll and the accounts payable claims we do this week, do some dummy runs on it using that data. We assume that there'll be no issues and it will go live the following week. So that's.
Did you say this week or next week it'll be installed?
Next week. They're coming out on Tuesday to install it and do training and, like I said, do some dummy runs on it. We don't anticipate any problems. They have the bulk of this year's data already, and it's already loaded in there. That is the year-to-date history, and they haven't come back with any questions or concerns with what we've been sending them. So, and this is not their first transition from Harris, so they're used to Harris.
Yeah, the county transition from Harris to LAO as well.
So who's going to be trained on that?
Myself, Kathy, and Kelly Mullis, our office manager. Well, not as much, but Joey Long and Lee Paulson will also have read-only access to the ledger so that they can pull their own budget status reports when they need that information. And then somewhere down the road, not real sure when, but we've did add the feature, what do they call it? Attendance on demand, which is it's an electronic timekeeping system that there's a phone app for, so that, you know, the site operators don't have to come down to the office every other weekend and drop off timesheets. So that is a separate division that will come and set all that up and do training on that, so that won't happen right away, which is fine. We don't want to, Kathy and I want to know that inside and out before we try to start getting the employees on that. But so hopefully that will eventually allow us to move away from the paper timesheets. I think that may be the same system that the county's using.
We just started using it this year, and we were fairly recent.
Well, different departments went on, yeah, but now they just, when they walk in, they just tap the reader inside the door if they're in a building, so. County.
The county's kind of our little, you know, ace up our sleeve if we ever run into problems. So we just call the auditor's office and say, fix it.
No,
We have been
and
using
they agree with
WOW.
that.
Yeah, we've been using WOW for, what, 8 years or so. It's been quite a while.
No, I don't anticipate any support problems from WOW that we would ever have to burden the county like that, so. And again, and Ms. Piedmont said it was before you walked in, kind of off before the meeting started. Our facilities are going to be closed on Monday, the 8th, for the solar eclipse. I know when we set the holiday schedule, there was some question about whether or not we wanted to open them up, but I just don't, it hasn't been brought up since. And I just, if there's going to be 250,000 extra people here, I don't want to be open and encourage people to get out on the road. And I don't necessarily want our employees working outside while the eclipse is happening. And when it's not total, you can cause eye damage looking at it. So I just assume avoid that altogether.
Yeah, we had talked about maybe having some kind of recycling pickup available. I know the big event at the fairgrounds was
Yeah, that's
canceled.
what I forgot to put on my list. That Kayla Strand did, went through all the event calendars that she could find and reached out to all the events that she could identify. Unfortunately, there was only 2 or 3 that actually took us up on the offer. Some of them already had other arrangements made, either because it's at a city park where city sanitation is doing it, or you know, they already did recycling through one of the waste management companies. But and I apologize, I meant to bring that list and forgot the 2 or 3, but we do have 2 or 3 of the events that we are going to provide containers for at the end of this week, and we'll go collect those Tuesday or Wednesday. So
Important, thank you. Especially if it's the one at IU.
no, I
IU
was
probably has to go.
not one of them.
IU may
I know
probably
that,
has to go.
so, but and I think one of the venues is currently a GBN client, and they thought that they could just manage it through their regular GBN pickup. But either way, at any rate, we did reach out to all of them that we could find, and those that expressed interest, we're going to do what we can do to help them recycle as much as they can.
So the city is also closed, right? Are you guys closed?
And then just a heads up, be prepared. We will be coming to the board at some point. We're going to have to do some category fund transfers, probably additional appropriations later in the year. We're kind of holding off. We want to get the LAO transition done and in place. But you know, with the LAO purchase, with all the signs that we've been doing, we're going to have to move some money around and potentially do some additional appropriations later in the year to make sure we're funded. At the last meeting, there was interest expressed in doing a visit to the landfill. And with Lee Paulson and Edward Allman from Purdue. They are planning to do the bulk of the tree planting on Shiloh Road on April the 18th. So I will send an email, plan to send an email out at some point this week to the board and the CAC to see, check availability and interest in doing late morning, midday tour at the landfill. Partially because part of what Edward had to do, he got a grant to offset the cost for running the tree planter. Part of that grant requires him to have some sort of educational component for the event. So when they break for lunch, he's going to do an hour, hour and a half education session that for any of us that come out. There's also some of the groups that he works with in Canopy Bloomington, MC Iris, Master Gardeners, invite them to come out for that as well.
Right, okay, you'll send an email.
So I'll send an email out to everybody to let them know and see what kind of interest and availability there is for that day.
What day of the week is that?
It is a Thursday. My mom's 80th.
That sounds good, I will take some time off that day then.
And the last thing I had, just want to let you know that the request for proposal documents regarding recycling and MSW disposal transportation, I've about got those together and do anticipate I will get those off to the legal counsel this week. I hope to be able to turn all that around and be able to present those in draft form at the May board meeting to see if the board wants to take any action regarding that.
I'm sorry, I missed the first part of
The
that.
RFP documents
Oh, okay.
for the recycling, MSW disposal and hauling.
Maybe.
Good to me.
That's what I got.
All right, thank you. How about Commissioner Giddens?
No,
Anything else?
No.
Councilmember Piedmont Smith, anything else?
No.
All right, anything from the CAC?
No.
All right, great. All right, well, thank you very much, and we're adjourned.
I would have had enough power for 18 minutes. So.
Never know.
I know.
We are adjourned, is that correct?
We are adjourned.